I can't emphasize enough how helpful it is to practice. Programming truly is a skill that requires practice to master, and you need to be patient and give yourself that time. So let's try a few examples for extra practice and to help you see, how we could actually practice this stuff. And I would encourage you to first try these on your own and then compare your solution to mine. You could even take it a step further and modify these examples beyond what the initial instruction was. That's one of the best ways to improve at programming. So let's try a first example. Here we want to write a program which will ask the user for a number between 1 and 5 inclusive. So basically the number needs to be greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 5, right? If the user enters a number which is not between 1 and 5, the program should keep asking the user until a valid input is received. So question is, what kind of loop should we use? And how do we write this program? Try pausing the video and giving this a try. Well, what kind of loop should we use? Well, do we know how many times this loop needs to run? So based on that reasoning, probably not a for loop. Because remember, for loop, you want to know how many times you need that loop to run. Does the loop have to run at least once? Well, maybe depending on how we design it. So in this case, probably a while loop would be best. It can run 0 or as many times as needed. Basically, our plan for this program could be that we ask the user for a number, and then while the number is not valid, we could ask again and get a new number. So that's one way that we could write this program. Let's go ahead and code it up real quick. We have a new blank main function, so we need to ask the user for a number. So I'm just going to first declare a variable for int user number. Then we ask the user, enter a number between 1 and 5 inclusive. Then take in the user's number from the keyboard. And here comes our loop. So we use a loop to check whether the number is valid and keep asking for valid number. So we can say while user number, so if they give us something that is not within the desired range, ask for a valid number again. So here we could say, okay, fine. That number you gave is not between 1 and 5 inclusive. So we can say, please enter another number. So notice this loop is going to keep running until we get a good number. So at the end, I'll just have another statement so we can see what number they finally gave us. So once again, declare a variable to hold the number, ask the user, and then as long as the user's number is not within our desired range, so as long as we're less than 1 or greater than 5, then we get the error message, please enter another number, and we keep repeating until they give us the number we want. So let's go ahead and run this, and you see, enter a number between 1 and 5. I'm going to be mean and give it 10. 10 is not between 1 and 5. Please enter another number. Not between 1 and 5. Please enter another number. So, see, I can be a real jerk, but this program is going to stubbornly insist that I give it a valid number, right? So finally, if I give it number 5, it will take 5 and end. Write a program which will output the numbers 0 to 100 to the screen with each number on a new line. What kind of loop should we use, and how do we write this program? Well, notice we know how many times this program needs to run. We can use a for loop. For loop might be the most convenient way. Alternatively, a while loop could also work. Let's briefly code this up. Basically, we declare a variable to hold a number. We initialize it to 0. And then we start our loop. So we could say while number is less than or equal to 100, we output the number, and then we increment our number. Or we could just use a for loop, starting at 0, number is less than or equal to 100, number plus plus. Notice that one would actually be even less code because for loop would actually need just one line of code inside. And then notice we can just write a for loop. And there we go. So let's go ahead and run this. You see, we get the numbers 0 through 100. If I wanted to go backwards, well, I could start with numbers 100. Then we could say number is greater than or equal to 0. And then I could do number minus minus. And notice if I do that, then I go in reverse. I could also do number minus equals 2 if I want to do steps of 2, and so on.